In this video, we're going to talk about how often you should contact events before you give up, before you say, forget this stuff, I'm done. I'm done.
How'd you do that?
I see that success is not something you pursue, it is something you are.
All right, so you're contacting events, and at a certain point, you got to give up. I mean, at a certain point, you're like, all right, I've sent them a million emails. I'm practically a stalker right now. I got to give up. But at what point should you give up? How many times should you contact them? Because a lot of times people will contact events. They'll send one email, just freaking one email, and they'll say, oh man, they're just not interested. Oh man, shucks, I'm done. Oh, no one wants to hire me. And so you got to think in terms of how often should you contact them in order to actually get the gig. And so I created this, not for me. I created this because when I hired people, they weren't contacting people enough. They would do the whole thing, send one email, maybe two emails, because I kept getting on them like about it and stuff, maybe two emails, and that was it. So I created this thing called a cadence. A cadence is basically the activity that you should engage in over a period of time in terms of how many times you should contact a lead or a prospect. And so I created this cadence for people that I hired, right? And it basically says, all right, so day one, you're going to send an email. Day two, you send another email. Day three, you send an email. Day five, you call them and leave a voicemail. Day seven, you send an email. Day 12, you send an email. Day 14, you call and leave a voicemail. But the cadence is basically, it's really just a series of steps. That way you know you put in the same amount of effort into every single lead. You know that over a 14-day period, you sent out, what is it, you sent out 5 emails and you made 2 calls over a 14-day period. And so that's essentially what a cadence does. It basically helps you keep track of everything that you're doing. Once again, you do not just leave this to chance. If you leave this to chance, what's going to happen is you'll send one email, maybe 2 emails, and you'll be like, oh, I feel like I'm bothering them. I'm just not going to contact them anymore. And then bam, they're just gone. And so the reason why I did this, the reason why I contact so many events so much is because it's happened way too many times where I would contact them over like, mine is kind of like an infinity sales cadence where it's not just 2 weeks, it's like forever. And I would contact them over like a couple months. And then finally they'd respond and say, hey, I'm glad you kept in touch. Yeah, we'd like to bring you in. And when that happens to you one time where people ignore you for 2 months straight, and all of a sudden that one email they respond and they say, okay, yeah, we'd like to bring you in, and that you get 20 grand from it, you're like, shoot, man, I'm going to keep following up with people from now on like crazy. And so it's only going to happen to you one time, and then you'll say, all right, Benji's right. And just like always, he's right. And we're just going to listen to him, right? And so what you're doing is you're creating this cadence inside of your CRM. And so it depends on your CRM in terms of how you create it. There's a couple ways you can create it. You can create like a checkbox. So that way, let's say day one, it says send email. Then you just checkbox it. Once you sent the first email, bam, you check it. So now you know, okay, you go back to this lead. You say, okay, now I'm on day 2. I'll checkbox that because I now sent an email for day 2. And so you basically have this inside of your CRM. You can create a checkbox. You can create like this choice thing. It really just depends on your CRM, but basically set that up inside of your CRM. Honestly, most people, they just quit way too soon. And that's why they don't get on stages. They quit way too soon. Follow-up is the name of the game. Follow-up, that's where all the money's made. And so you have to go inside of your CRM. You have to have a process in terms of here's how many times I'm going to follow up with each lead minimum. This is a minimum that I'm going to follow up with the leads. And don't feel like you're bothering them. Don't say like, oh, I feel like I'm bothering them, like I'm contacting them way too many times. Real salespeople don't think like that. I'm telling you right now, real salespeople, they're just like, I'm just gonna keep on emailing them until I get an answer. And that's basically your state of mind, to where people who feel like they're bothering someone, those are the people who don't make any money. And so what you do is you're basically delusional in a sense, and you say, I'm going to keep contacting them because they're probably busy. It's not that they don't want to talk to me. They're probably just busy. So when they finally do, they're going to be glad that hey, I contact them so many times. And so honestly, this is really the delusional aspect that you're in, and that's why you have this sales cadence. So that's basically what you want to do in terms of how often should you contact them before giving up. You create this sales cadence inside of your CRM, and then you're good to go.